Hi everyone, welcome to the Animal Reader. The Animal Reader is an animal news website. Today we're going to talk to Meet Ashar. He's a lawyer and an animal rights activist in India, and we're going to talk about Bruno. That was a black Labrador. Last week he was brutally beaten and killed in India. The video went viral. People were appalled. And welcome, Meet, first of all. But what is the latest on the people who did this? And you froze. I am so sorry. Oh. Are you there? Are you there? I'm so sorry for everybody. We just started and I think your connection is gone. Sorry for this. We were going to talk to Meet Ashar. I'm going to try it one more time. Oh, are you there? Yes.
Hi, yes. Sorry, I
Hi.
missed that
Oh, yeah,
bit. I
sorry.
don't
You
know
were
if it
gone
was
for...
my or your internet connection. Yeah.
No, I think it's my internet. Something was running connection. But welcome, Meet. We're going to talk about Bruno. That's a story that has dominated social media in India. I'm going to add a picture of him. This is Bruno. He's a black Labrador. He was 9 years old. That's one of his guardians. And a video went viral last week of three men, two men and one boy. They hung him by a fish hook. We are not sharing the video, so because it's too gruesome, but they hung him by a fishhook and they beat him until he died. And there's a hashtag in India and abroad also, justice for Bruno, which people are fighting to get some like justice for him. Because usually when things happen in India, which we've talked about before, the punishment in some cases is severe, in some cases it's very little. And Meet, you're a lawyer. First of all, what happened to these three guys?
So basically, an FIR has been registered against the perpetrators about the said offense. Two of the perpetrators are adults, and one of them is a juvenile. So the two adults have been arrested, but the juvenile, since he is a minor, could not be arrested. However, in due course, he will be produced before the Child Welfare Committee or the Juvenile Justice Board, and appropriate steps will be taken thereafter in accordance with the law.
And what will happen to the two men, the adults?
So basically, right now they have been released on bail because unfortunately, the sections under which they have been booked, those sections are bailable in nature. And that is exactly why they have been released on bail, because a lot of people have been asking as to why they have been bailed out. And this is the reason, because unfortunately, the sections under which they have been booked are bailable. But this does not mean that the case is over or there will be no action taken against them. There is a trial that will happen. The magistrate will preside over the case. A charge sheet will be filed by the police, which will detail the allegations made against these perpetrators. It will also contain the evidences which are available against them, including the video, the brutal video, which everyone has seen. And that will form part of the case. And depending on the evidences produced before the magistrate and how the case progresses, if these two adults are convicted, are held guilty of the offense they have committed, they could be sentenced to a prison term which can go up to 5 years with or without fine. So it's not that they will escape with a 50 rupee penalty, because they have been charged under section 429 of the Indian Penal Code, which provides for up to 5 years of imprisonment. But this does not mean that we do not need stronger animal protection laws. We do need stronger animal protection laws because there is a need for an immediate deterrent. And we need the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act to be strengthened, because right now, what we are banking upon or relying is section 429 of the IPC. We are hoping, and we are working towards these two adults being convicted under section 429 of the IPC, which provides for a stronger jail term. But the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act provides for a measly fine of rupees 50 for a first time offender. So if these people are first time offenders under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, all they will get away with is rupees 50. But thankfully, like I said, they have not only been booked under the PC Act, but they have also been booked under section 429 of the IPC.
But the PC A Act, or the PC Act, that's the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. So it was made in 1960, which basically stated it's illegal to hurt animals in India. But back then it was, you could get out if it was a first offense on a bill of 50 rupees. And now we're 60 years later and we're still living by the same act, right? That is a big problem in India. Why you mentioned in a post you posted yesterday on Facebook that it seems like animal cruelty cases are going up in India because people also think they can get away with it.
Right. So they have been increasing since the past couple of years, but now I think it's the rise has been quite steep, and it's worrisome because we are seeing every day the number of videos, that are coming out from different parts of the country. It's not only a particular city or a particular state; it's all across the country that these videos are coming out from, and it's really worrisome. Rather, the Supreme Court of India, the apex court of India, in 2014, in its judgment, had urged the parliament of this country to amend the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act and make stronger laws so that there is a deterrent. The Supreme Court also recognized this problem, that currently the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act is not able to serve as an effective deterrent, and that is exactly why cases of animal cruelty and abuse are only increasing by the day.
Yeah.
So there is an urgent need for this law to be amended. Thankfully, the government has taken some steps in this direction. They had come out with a proposed amendment, which they had proposed to pass in the parliament, but before which they had taken consultation from stakeholders. A lot of activists, including myself and NGOs, have sent suggestions to the government on the law that they propose to pass as to where it is lacking, how it can be strengthened further. For example, heinous offenses or heinous crimes like these, like in the case of Bruno, they need to be made non-bailable. Unless that is done, there will not be an immediate and effective deterrent. So, yeah, that is the need of the hour.
So yeah, exactly. It's the need of the hour. But we've had this conversation before, right? I think like a year ago, we had this. There was 3 boys who threw a dog in the water. That's the first time I spoke to you. Also horrible. They had on videotape. Now in April, the government itself has asked you to, like, we want to change this. So we don't want it that you just pay 50 rupees and you can get off. It has to be stricter. But why is the government still hasn't? There's no discussion. Everybody agrees on it. So why isn't it becoming law yet?
So I think where it was stuck is when the government asked for the stakeholders to send their suggestions. They had given around 15 to 20 days to the stakeholders to send their suggestions. And then I think the government might have been busy with compiling them, but I don't think it should take so long. So, what people need to do is nudge the government now, tell them that in the upcoming monsoon session of parliament, this law needs to be passed, because we have waited far too long, more than us waiting. Animals have suffered far too long because of such weak laws. So it needs to be done now in this coming in this coming monsoon session of Parliament. This law needs to be passed. So it's at a final stage, is what we are getting to hear from the ministry, that it's all almost ready. So it just needs certain formalities to be done.
And besides the law on this, why do you like what motivated, for instance, these 2 men and 1 boy to beat this dog? Like, because you have law, but also why is it going up in India? Why do you see? I follow you on social media and other Indian activists, and it's almost weekly, if not sometimes daily, you see horrible videos of people hurting animals. Do you have an explanation for this, or do you have an explanation for this specific case? Why did they like to hang a dog by by a fish hook and to beat him? Your brain must be, I don't know, there's something, it's not a natural behavior.
Absolutely. So, I personally believe that no justification is ever enough to justify the, brutal killing or torturing of an animal. However, in this case, what is being said is 2 things. One, that the dog was playing and, relaxing around their boat, not even in their boat, around their boat. And the second thing that I hear is that these two families, that is the perpetrators and the family of the dog, they had some personal issues, and maybe this was a way where by killing the dog that they wanted to teach them a lesson. This is what we are getting to hear from the police and from local activists from Kerala who have tried to find out more about this case.
Yeah.
But again, this brings us to this very important issue, which I never fail mentioning, is that animal abuse is related to human abuse.
Yeah.
People, these young boys, 2022 also are not, like uh, old people. They are all young, and to do this at such a young age, to have this kind of insensitivity is worrisome. Because if you can do this to a defenseless animal, a dog who was not even in a position to defend himself, he was still wagging his tail while they were continuously hitting him and trying to finish him and kill him.
Yeah.
And to do this to an animal, these people are very much capable of perpetrating crimes against humans also. So this
Yeah.
must not only worry you, me, and other animal lovers, but the society as a whole. If we do not want such crimes, if we do not want rapes against women, we don't want the elderly to be tortured, we don't want kids to be kidnapped, and other sadistic crimes to happen, then we need to prevent animal abuse. And this is not me saying, these are multiple researchers saying, and the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the United States of America, works on this very front.
Yeah.
All
True.
serious cases of animal abuse are investigated by the FBI. If this case were to happen in the US, I'm sure the FBI would have taken over this case, Bruno's case, for instance, right now, since we are talking about this. So
Yeah.
because of the very strong link between animal crimes and human crimes. So
Yeah. So we've done interviews on this too. Yeah, there's a definite link, and
yes,
when people hurt animals, you should just keep looking at
yeah,
them, and the police should be keep them in
true.
their not out of their sight,
Records.
because
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And what so different from this case, like I said, you and me have talked about many cases in India that have happened, but different from this case is that I see the hashtag is really trending, justice for Bruno. So a lot of people are talking about this. But I also saw that the Kerala High Court is taking this up on their own. That's a difference compared to the other cases, right?
Yes. So, Honorable Justice Jayasankaran Nambiar, he's a judge of the Honorable Kerala High Court. He has taken up this matter. He had written a letter to the Chief Justice of the Kerala High Court, based on which the Kerala High Court decided to take suo motu cognizance of this case. But it's not only this case, it's the larger issue of the increasing number of animal cruelty cases in the country. That's what the judge has mentioned in his letter petition to the Chief Justice, mentioning that how animal abuse has been increasing, and how the
Yeah.
state, that is the executive, has failed in preventing these crimes. And when you say the executive has failed, it is also somewhere because of laws not being very strong, not being such that they prove to be an effective and immediate deterrent to animal abusers and people who have a tendency to harm animals. So the
Yeah.
court is considering multiple factors. One of the factors is also why lower courts, that is the magistrate courts where the trials usually take place, why there are not enough convictions in animal cruelty cases. That is another issue that the Kerala High Court has taken up, which is extremely important, because we need people who commit these crimes to be convicted, to be
Yeah.
punished. So a
Yeah.
message can be sent to the society that you might get bail, but you cannot escape the punishment that is provided under the law. If you are convicted, you will go in for 5 years. So the Kerala High Court has also taken a very important step where it has asked the Director General of Prosecution to personally monitor the developments in the case at the magistrate court level, and has asked the Director General to make sure that this case is kind of fast tracked,
Yeah.
and that it comes through it. There is something concrete that comes out of it. So the case is still not over. The next hearing is on 13th of July, where the court will go into other issues. The court has appointed two amicus curiae to help the court as a friend of the court in this matter, who can do a little bit of research on animal protection laws, the recent trend of the rise in animal cruelty cases, the reasons linked to it, and that can be brought to the court's attention by the amicus curiae. And then the court can go into further deeper issues as to what more the court needs to take up. And the court has also mentioned, like I said, the Supreme Court's order in 2014 asking the Parliament to amend the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. This is also something that has been mentioned by the Kerala High Court in its Suamoto case.
Thank you for the update. We'll keep following it. And thank you so much. I want to, like, I've told you this before, but every time we see these stories, you do a great job in India using your social media presence,
Thank
just
you.
highlighting it and you also try to make people aware to just keep reporting these cases so change actually comes. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching.